What up, brother?
My brother, yes, sir. Jay Dukes is in the building. Jay Dukes, welcome to the Juice Network. This is the More Than an Entertainer series brought to you by the Juice Network. And we got a special guest in the building. Boy, listen, man, this right here, listen, this is one thing I've been looking forward to for a good little minute. I've been looking forward.
Man,
And we got the legend Jay Dukes is in the building. My God,
come
welcome.
on, brother. I appreciate you having me, man. I'm so proud of you and what you got going on, brother. Keep mashing because you're doing a great job. I see you with the backdrop on them, huh? see you with the backdrop on.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying to
Let's get it. You got to teach me how to do that.
I got you. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Juice Network. Okay, this is the More Than Entertainer series, and this is Jay Dukes up here. So my brother, so for the people who do not know you, for the people who are familiar with your work, we about to get into a little deep conversation today. So let's start by just giving the people a little bio about where you from, where you graduated from, and then we gonna start from there.
Oh, I want to shout out everybody coming in the building one time. I'll see y'all, man. Appreciate y'all coming and rocking with us. I am from Spartanburg, South Carolina.
Okay.
You know what it is, man. So 864. I went to Claflin University, came out 2010, long time ago. And ever since then, have been doing hosting, comedy, acting now, really doing my thing. Also the CEO of Oxford Wars. So we just grinding, man. We just making it happen, doing everything. We did everything that we had to do everything that we want to do now. So.
That's what's up. So I know you probably get this question a million times, but just kind of give the people a story of what made you want to pick up a mic. Like, what made you want to be an actual host?
I was hosting everything for my fraternity. As soon as I crossed, spring '08, me and my line brothers, we all had different roles, right? And so my role was to just give me the mic, just because I was a personable person. That's all it really was. Like, people just, either laughed with me or laughed at me, but whatever it was a reaction, right? So I just wanted to host everything for the chapter for my fraternity. And then when I went, still in undergrad, I hosted the National Pre-Alumni Council Conference's talent show 2 years in a row, right? The second year I hosted it, I had like this dude come up to me. It was like, hey, man, I want to get you some gigs. So I'm going to fly you here, fly you there. I'm saying fly you to LA, Chicago. And I was like, bro, my advisor's right there. He was like, what? And I was like, yeah, I'm still a student. He was like, you lying. And I was like, yeah. He was like, ah, man, keep mashing, bro. Because you definitely are light years ahead of other hosts that I've seen. I thought you were already graduated and just in the field and they brought you in. So, so that semester after I graduated, I got my first big check for hosting. And I was like, oh, snap, this is a career, right? I just didn't look back at that point. Of course, it's a roller coaster. You got your ups and downs. But as far as ultimately, I was like, yo, like, this is what I want to do for real.
Okay. So, a lot of people, like me being a host, like, I've been hosting for like 4 years now. And it's kind of been like, a little up and down, because it's like, now that I've graduated, it's kind of like now I'm in that transitional stage of, okay, what's next after here? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Where do I now get my foot in the door? So for you, when you graduated, how is it like, going into the real world and like starting to perfect your craft and just trying to get your name out there more, trying to really like get people to like invest into your business?
For sure. I had, some success early on, but I also, did some of the free shows, right? And so just putting myself out there and putting my name in different areas and introducing myself to people that, didn't know me yet. Of course, I had to take some of the, shows for free, some of the shows for, $200, $250 or whatever, just because I know what I'm going to bring to the show, right? And so now we talk. And this is a conversation when you negotiating the gig, like, yo, I'll do that for you. But if I do great and the feedback is good, then I really want to build a relationship for you to bring me back, right? So early on, associated with my brand, I would hashtag the repeat king. And that's because, the quality was there for the show. And also just from us working so hard of having these relationships, like I would do shows back to back. One thing that I always mention is early on, I broke the record at Alabama A&M because they brought me 6 consecutive semesters back to back to host either homecoming or Springfest, right?
Wow.
Back to back to back to back. And I'm like, man, I know the students tired of me, but they was like, nah, our students actually are only asking for you. So could you please come back and do our show? I was like, dang, right? And I think that, but that's because I challenged myself to come with something new every single show. What up? Ray Singleton has stepped in the building. That is my dog. But yes, I challenged myself to come with something new because a lot of times when you're hosting, you have a formula and you have certain things and certain sets that work, and people don't tend to challenge themselves to step outside of that. Like, oh, if it worked at this school, it's going to work at this school. And if it worked this first time, it's going to work the second time. But you got to also keep in mind that the people who are sophomores, they're going to be juniors next year. So they've seen you perform before, right? And you don't want your performance to be predictable. And so now, even if they think I'm going one way, I always figure out different ways to work with a DJ. I always have new material, always have new content that you can put in front of their face. So as an audience member, you like, dang, I look forward to seeing Jay Dukes because it's always something different. It's always something new.
Okay. So you said something about like, you know, like with material and having a relationship with a DJ. I know for me, like I'm blessed to say that, you know, like 5 of my friends are DJs. Like we're all like of course one of that, you know, DJ Ashby, that's been one person that I've had a close relationship with, and we've kind of like built a connection when we do gigs, whether it's a party, whether it's, you know, a live event or whatever. So
that's my guy. So real quick, shout out to DJ Ashby, but shout out to your whole team, man. Y'all definitely doing y'all thing, and y'all stay close knit with it, and you can definitely, you know, see the growth, and you can also see the professionalism that y'all carry as a whole. So shout out to your whole team for real.
Thank you, man. Well, I appreciate it, man. We appreciate it too. So, kind of understand. So one thing I always tell people that if they ask me like, y'all want to be a host, like, what's any tips? One of the main things I always say is, have a good relationship with the DJ. Like really understand the DJ. Make sure that, like, you know, for one, you definitely got to know music and you definitely got to read a crowd, but you definitely have to have a good relationship with a DJ. So if you don't mind, kind of like go a little bit deeper into like having a good relationship and having a good format with the DJ as a whole.
So definitely shout out Ashby. Shout out to so spring 2008, when I crossed a long time ago, I started working with my DJ T-Mobile, right? And so when I go to these different schools, I always, you know, push to bring my DJ, right? And some of the schools don't understand. They be like, man, I need to, like, we want to give somebody locally opportunity. We got a student that's nice with it and he want the DJ to show and all of that. And I get it, but the way that I explain it to them, it's like I'm a professional, so I'm going to be able to rock with anybody, but also just keep in mind that my DJ is like my favorite spades partner.
Oh.
You see what I'm saying?
Ooh.
And so I'm nice with it. I can play with anybody, but I don't have to explain certain things to him because that's my guy. You feel me?
Yeah.
And so if they've already booked a DJ or promised it to somebody, then I get it. I understand. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll come and rock with you. But if you notice, like me and Ashby, we worked at Duke a couple of times, right?
Yeah.
Once I worked with him and I knew that we clicked, I was like, okay, cool. You know, if y'all already got somebody who y'all got, and they was like, we got Ashby. Okay, cool. We don't have to, you know, bring my DJ. But I don't click with everybody. And the reason I don't click with everybody is because when I set up my show, or when I go into a step show or a talent show or anything, my mindset is a cohesive relationship with the DJ and myself, right? A lot of people, when they think of host or comedian or entertainer, whatever, it's like, yo, the DJ plays the music and the host, you know, talks. Right? That's not how I approach shows at all. You feel me? Because the whole time it's me and the DJ working together because my show just thrives off of energy. So I'm not going in intentionally trying to do a comedy set or anything, right? Might be some call outs that I do, whatever, but a lot of things are just in the moment and literally just thriving off of energy, right? And so even if it's not my DJ or if it's somebody that I haven't worked with before, it's in my contract that I have to talk to the DJ before. Okay. Right. And not even, well, let me not say it's in my contract, but I definitely push to talk to the DJ before. Right. I'm like, yo, and I'm not talking about a sound check. 30 minutes before the show. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I want to get them on the phone. You can be on the phone with me if you want to do a 3-way or whatever, but I need to explain to them that I'm not trying to take your shine, but what I want to do is figure out a relationship of how we both shine at the same time.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then so we talk on the phone before, maybe a week or so before, and also at sound check, I make sure that we carve out time just for us, right? I don't want to be in the whole flow of the sound check. Like, you can just come by. The Deltas are doing sound check and the SG Rolls, whatever. So we'll kind of fit you in. No, we're not doing that. Before they start doing their run throughs, I want to talk to the DJ and make sure we're on the same page for at least 30 minutes. So include me in that schedule, right? Don't tell me that you can come by and go mic check 1 2 1 2, and then I think you should be good, right? No. I need minutes of me and the DJ face to face, and nobody else on stage, nobody else getting his attention. So
that's good. That's good right there. I'm taking that down. Shout out now, like you said, we got a couple of DJs up here, so I want to shout them out right quick. Shout out to DJ Double J, shout out to DJ Show Out, and shout out to my boy DJ Double A. Okay, that's my guy right there. Yeah. So yes, those are good guys to work with. So boom. Now, for me as a host, right, one thing that I'm big on, and one thing I've always been big on, is finding my own niche and finding my own material, if that makes sense, right?
Yep.
Oh, because I'm pretty sure you know one of the dudes I look up to, DPDMC at Winston-Salem State University. Shout out to him.
That's my guy.
Yes, one thing he's always got on me is, as a host, find your own niche, find your own thing. Like, don't try to piggyback a copy what somebody else does, because it's kind of like, not saying that it's disrespectful, but it's kind of like it's not original. You know what I'm saying? So kind of like walk me through, like, what are some of the processes that you go through about finding new material? Like, you know, like I know like one thing that you did at Duke that I took note of was like, okay, you did something like you told the sound people to turn the lights off, right? And you told everybody to put their phones light in the air. And the big thing was, if you know the song, y'all want you to wave your phone light in the air. If you don't know the song, put the phone down. And it would be song everybody would know. So I would look at stuff like that and be like, yo, that shit is freaking genius. Like, that is genius right there. Like, I'm writing all that down. So, like, kind of like walk me through, like, what's it like when you write certain material down and, like, how you walk through it?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. So I always tell, you know, young hosts and other promising hosts like yourself, like, study but don't steal, right? So go to shows, check out what other hosts are doing, and be like, okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? You can be inspired by anything, but like, you definitely want to see what works, what don't work, because if they do something and you even got a similar idea and it don't work, then throw the idea away. Like, nah, that ain't, you know what I'm saying? That ain't popping. You know what I mean? And so, but you definitely will look at the reactions from the crowd. Because when I go to shows, I watch the host, but I also watch the crowd. I watch how the crowd reacts, right? Okay. And not even me on stage. I definitely go to other, you know, shows just to watch the host. You have to do that, right? Because you got to know where you line up in this whole scheme of things of what you're providing and what other people are providing, right? So you want to, like, so you can kind of gauge reactions. And if you're getting those same reactions or better, you know, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, right? If you're not, you know, you need to go back to the lab and figure something out, right? So, so even with the set that you just talked about, like, people, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a very clever way to do it. And this is what I noticed too, right? So we call it Light It Up, right? And so me and my frat brother, we sat down and we talked about it one time. He used to be in the hosting, like, super heavy. And I'm not, I don't even flex. I like to be transparent, 100% transparent about everything. He was the first one I saw say, put your cell phone lights in the air, that wasn't like an artist at a concert. Right?
Respect.
So we sat down and we talked about it. He don't even host no more. And I was like, dog, like, that was a genius idea because it looks great. Right. But I was like, let me put my spin on it. And of course, we had a conversation about it. And he was like, yeah, Red, go ahead and do your thing. Right. But what I realized later was, you see these concerts and you see everybody's cell phone in the air. And like, and as a host, you want to get that same reaction.
Right.
But all of them people in the crowd are taking pictures of the celebrity.
Right.
It's not put your cell phone in the air and wave it, you know what I'm saying, side to side. This is everybody excited about who's on the stage. So it looks good, but it's not like we're technically not recreating that moment until we are, you know what I mean, like Kevin Hart or something like that. You see what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
But so even with that said, I was like, let me figure out a way that I can do it and make it my own to where I'm not copying my brother. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so when I did it for the first time and we made it a game, like, cause technically it's a game. Technically it's dang, that's super creative. It's not just do what I said. It's like, hey, I want y'all to play along with me. It was like, oh, nobody else has done that before. You know what I'm saying?
I feel that. I honestly feel that.
And so I will say this. So you definitely got to find things that, you know, are specific to you, because I know for a fact that specific way of doing it, I was the first one to do that. Right. So if anybody else is like, if you remember the song, put your cell phone in the air, but if you skip them, if you don't know the words, or wait, I'm tripping. Yo,
you're good.
Like,
you're good.
yo, like, yeah, my DJ about to play a couple of songs. If you know the song, put your cell phone in the air. If you don't know the song, or if you skipping words, put your phone down. Right. If anybody else intros it like that, then I'm like, damn, bro. Yeah,
like damn, like give me my respect, right? Gotcha.
Give me like that. Like if anybody else in the world intros it like that, we know for a fact that it's like, damn, I saw Jay. You know, but they might not even know my name, but I saw somebody do that before, and it rocked for him. So I'm gonna take it. We know that, so it is what it is.
Okay, all right. Now, so 7 stopped from hosting, right? You have, you know, started dibbling and dabbling in comedy and, you know, in acting, right? So a lot of people like to be comics, but sometimes they're not that funny, or they don't always have that niche, right? So for you, kind of like talk about what were some of like the pros and cons of doing comedy.
Pros and cons of doing comedy. I tell people, I'll tell anybody that I don't want to be the next Kevin Hart, right? I definitely want to be the first Jay Dukes. And the only reason
for that one, that was a good one. That would drop a bomb for that one. I like that.
Right?
One. I like that
yep.
one.
But and the only reason I say that is because the only reason I do comedy is to make my hosting better. That was it. And I actually got good at it. Right? Everybody don't get good at it. Right? Some people like you say dibble and dabble in it, but I've, you know, had some great opportunities. Opened up for Ricky Smiley a couple of times. Actually opened up for the legendary Patti LaBelle twice on a couple of spot dates, and just, you know, doing comedy all over different colleges, you know, whether it's hosting or doing a set or whatever. But the only reason I started doing comedy was just to make my hosting better, because let's just say if, you know, it's a DJ that I technically can't work with or that's messing up, I'm still not going to embarrass the DJ, but I'm not going to lean and depend on him as much because he make, you know what I'm saying, the show messing up. Right. So it's like, all right, cool. I have other tools in my tool bag that I don't need to play music. I can literally stand on stage and tell jokes and they will hit. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely.
So, you know, one of the biggest pulls that you've had is, you know, from HBCUs. Like HBCUs are one place that you really like get your shine at, right? One of the biggest things that's going on in the world right now are top collegiate athletes choosing HBCUs. And today, I don't want to get his name wrong, but a young man today, he committed himself to Howard University, right? Yep. And then we got the other dude like Mikey. He's literally said, "Yo, I'm gonna shock the world. I'm going to HBCU." So, just kind of like talk to me about like the power of HBCUs and like how do you feel like as alumni and as students, how can we make HBCUs be bigger and better?
I think we have all the power in the world, man, because we're not just a number. When you talk about PWIs, there's so many students and they end up being just a number, right? When you go to a HBCU, especially a small HBCU, shout out to Claflin University one time.
Yes, sir.
South Carolina. We were a family, man. We knew everybody. You know what I'm saying? If you walked on the campus and we didn't recognize your face, we would know it. You know what I'm saying? And so like, thank you, Jay, for being our special guest today on More. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? That was early. But Nah, so everybody is definitely a family, and you got people that actually care about you. So I think that's one thing that goes a long way. Like to this day, one of my second moms is at Claflin. Claflin has really, really helped me out. I even started an event called J Duke's Training Day, where it's a question and answer panel just for the freshmen. And this year is going to be the 7th annual. So just having a team, well, just having a family that supports you, man, just not on campus, but wants to see you win in life is super important. And hitting on the athletes that are going to HBCUs, I think it's amazing because it sheds light on the HBCUs, you know what I'm saying? And people that are not familiar or don't even care are going to be like, yo, why is he going to Winston-Salem State?
Right.
And it's like, go look it up. Go research it and find out that it's a great school to attend. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that sheds the right light and gives exposure more so than people who are just fully immersed in the culture. Now it makes people curious and it goes, yeah, wait, what they got going on? Right. And I think that's an amazing thing.
I like that. I like that. That was it right there. That was it.
Let me get my sound effects together, man. Because this is
I told you was coming prepared. I told you.
I love the feel of it. I just like
saying some real stuff. We want to make sure our guests feel at home, man. And so now let me ask you this, right? So when you go to HBCU, there's a lot of things that you're gonna experience. You're gonna experience the fried chicken Wednesdays or the fried chicken Fridays that you might have. You're gonna experience homecoming, tailgating, the Reds. I'm sorry, I love the Reds. That's just me.
For sure.
And of course, you're going to have not just the education, but you're also going to have Greek life, right?
For sure.
So one thing you've done, right, in your routines is make it known that you are a proud member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, right?
You know what it is.
Yeah, so just kind of like talk about like how the fraternity has had an impact, not maybe just like on your career, but just also like on your life.
Bruh, I don't even think like we got enough time to really go through it, man. But like, shout out to the bruh, shout out to the legendary Lambda Sigma chapter of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated for sure, right? I think that just even becoming the bruhs changed my mindset on life, right? Because we have, I don't know what all I can say on here, but
it's a free landscape. It's free. We good. It's all right.
No. I'm just saying, like, just even becoming the bruhs, it put me in a different mindset of I don't take any excuses, right, for things not getting done. I hold myself accountable for things getting done at all costs, right? And I think that before I was the bruhs, I was, and still to this day, I'm a big mama's boy, right? And so it comes to the point of, if my lady is crawling on the floor right now trying to dodge this interview. Hilarious. But so when I became the bruhs, it was like, all right, you got to man up and you got to get it done regardless, right? So I respect that mindset. And I also, just respect the brotherhood that we have and how everybody supports, what we got going on. Might not agree with it, but it's like, bro, I'm going to hold you down because you got it. Right. And when you got people around you that's like, yo, I'm going to support you. I'm going to hold you down. But also, like, I have real brothers. Right. I got one real blood brother, Jabari Dukes. I always, put him first. But under, like, right under that, I got real brothers. You know what I'm saying? And
Absolutely.
so they'll support me when I'm right and they'll tell me when I'm wrong. But still, again, it's so beautiful because they'll still support me in public even when I'm wrong, right?
Ooh.
No,
I'm saying that's a fact. That's a fact.
Nah, for sure. They'll support me in public when I'm wrong, but behind closed doors, they're like, yo, let me holler at you. You was messed up for that. But, just in the future, this is some things that you want to think about, right? So when you got like a real family and real brothers like that, man, you always gonna win because I don't just have yes men around me, right? And even beyond the fraternity, man, I got some solid dudes and some solid brothers that's not even in my fraternity. I think I saw E. King jump in here. He a noob, right? And he is, my second in command. He the COO of Ops Court Wars. This is my guy, been my brother since, we got to Claflin. So, I think just like you're going to find great people and you're going to find effed up people in every situation, every organization, every, place that you go to, right? So when you find those solid people, it ain't all about the letters on your chest. It's about if they solid, they solid, right? And fortunately for me, because I've heard some horror stories, but fortunately for me, all my brothers are solid.
Hand clap for that right there. Hand clap for that. That's what's up right there. Love it. Now, one thing as a host, right? I've had to learn how to do, and it's funny that you say about having brotherhood and having a solid. One thing I can say about my friends, right, is they give me, not even just as a host, but just as a man and just as a brother, is constructive criticism.
Yeah.
Right. So when I first started hosting, I remember just the little nitpicks that people would say, like, "Oh, I talk too much," or "I'm a little too loud on the mic," or "I talk over the music too much." Damn, all right, okay, I know, I remember, all right, I remember. But yeah, like just stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So as a host, right? Because a lot of people sometimes think that hosting is easy until they gotta rock out an entire arena or a gym or just a concert, whatever, and they see like it's more work than what you thought it was, right? So kind of talk to me about, as a host, how important it is to take constructive criticism.
Super important, right? And also I tell people that it's the difference between an announcer and a host, right? I'm a host. You're a host. Right.
Right.
So it's certain things, like you were saying earlier, like with the niche and everything, you got to find out what works for you as an entertainer. Because I don't have to say this anymore, but early on when I was pitching myself, my price was this because I was going, like I would tell people, I'm going to add to your show. I'm not a filler. I'm not somebody that gets on stage until the other, gets on stage till the other team is ready or whatever. I am added entertainment in addition to your show, right? Because I'm a host and I'm an entertainer for real, right? And they be like, well, what are you, a comedian? Man, I'll do jokes. I'm gonna work with the DJ. I'm gonna jump in the crowd. We gonna rock out, all of that, right? But that's because I am an entertainer. So from a constructive criticism standpoint, one thing that you got to be careful about is making sure you're ready to receive the constructive criticism, right? Hey, friend, Sharita, what's up? So, because what I used to do, which was detrimental to my, to the flow of where I was going with the show, I used to check Twitter in the middle of the show to make sure I was still doing good, right? And I don't care if it was 20-something comments of "this host is killing" or "oh man, Jake Dukes made it to my school, this is dope," whatever. If I saw one comment of "who is this host, he trash," I would let that one comment like override the 20 that were positive, right? So I had to stop doing that. But after the shows, especially now with doing Ops Court Wars and having a whole family, like we'll go break bread after the show and we'll literally sit down and say what was good, what was bad, what do we need to change, right?
Gotcha.
And so, but yeah, so just be careful. I mean, and I'm talking to you personally. Be careful about being ready to receive the constructive criticism so that you're in the right space to do so. But is definitely needed. Is definitely a requirement. But what we do, as our team, as our family, we break bread after each show and sit down and talk about the pros and the cons of the show and like make the adjustments for the next one.
Hey, dropping clues bombs for that one in the head. Like that was it right there. Did all that. So, for you, right? So, from your standpoint, right? A lot of people, like I've talked to certain hosts, because one thing I was just recently nominated as a top 7 HBCU host in the world. Appreciate you.
Drop one of clues bombs for that.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, give me my roses. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, one thing I've done is I've been able to, connect with other hosts, connect with hosts from South Carolina State, A&T, Winston-Salem State, just HBCUs all over, the world, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And one of the main things that we've talked about is kind of like, when we try to branch out to other schools or get our self pushed out into the real world with our craft, it's kind of like just accepting 1,000 no's before you get 100 yeses. You know what I'm saying? And so it's been kind of like a struggle. Like
1,000 no's before one yes.
Yes, yeah, even that, right? So it's kind of like, okay, even with our university or maybe with other universities, like, how do we get them to kind of like invest into our craft? And that's one thing I've talked to you about earlier, you know, like weeks ago, was like, you know, like, how do I get certain schools or certain places to kind of like buy into what I'm doing? Because there'll be a lot of people that would say they'll need a DJ before they'll need a host for anything. But it's like you said, you're adding on to the show because of what you're bringing to the table, right? So if you kind of can, just for anybody that wants to be a host or entertainer or just an entrepreneur or anything, right? How do you get people to invest in your brand?
So as a host, you know, let me say this. Ideally or subconsciously, I messed it all up. So
it's all good.
Subconsciously, we're also promoters, right? And
yes.
So they definitely want, you know, to see if we can bring people to the show, all of that. So one thing that we did early on is when I was still, you know, doing everything for the fraternity, we would pack out, you know, the theater for our shows, right? And so when I would be the one on stage and hosting, there go your mans, there go my mans too.
My boy, there go my boy. He gonna be on the show tomorrow.
There it is, DP the MC. What up, boy? All right, so yeah,
yes,
so and he'll attest to this too, is that you gotta create your own events to where people can come out and see you, right?
Yes.
So it's gonna take a little bit more work than just grabbing the mic and being on stage, right? So with your whole team, bro, y'all should be packing out, you know, theaters or clubs or whatever, so that you have the opportunity to rock out, right? And when you're doing that, you're not only taking a picture, you know, or taking videos and stuff on the line of the lines, and, you know, making sure you're putting together a video that's like, "Dog, this was a whole thing." You're also getting some footage of you as well, right? So with that footage, you take that and you show it to people and go, not only am I rocking on stage, but I do have a following where I can, you know, potentially bring out people to your show, right? So that, I think that's something that's real important. And so you want to build it as much as you can. And you also want to take take the shows that you can take that, you know, won't, you know, bankrupt you. Take the ones you can take and get that footage.
Got you.
You feel me? And
yes,
so even if it's a show for like $150, $200 or whatever it is, take the show if it's a great opportunity so that you can get the footage and let people know that you do this. I think that's the problem when people are starting out. Like, you can go to somebody and say, "Man, I do all my events for my school," right? So I really want y'all to book me. Like, I'm saying, like, this is what I do. This is my career. But it's a host at every school. You see what I'm saying? It's a J Dukes at every school. You feel me?
Yeah.
And so now when you go to these other schools, they like, "You gonna charge me what?" And I can call the J Dukes on my campus and he'll do it for free, right? So you have to set yourself apart experience-wise and say, "I've done this, and this, and this is why I deserve a shot." And they will give you a shot. If you keep knocking at the door, they will give you a shot. But when you get your shot, you can't miss.
I give you a hand clap right there, because like I said, everything he's saying, I'm not physically, but I'm mentally taking it. All right, so this is what we're gonna do right quick, okay? So we're gonna take a really, really quick break because Aji's about to cut us off. So we're gonna take a quick break and we're gonna come right back. So people, keep sharing the live when we come back. Make sure you get people to come in and tune in, because we are having a dope conversation with Jake Dukes. This is the More Than Entertainer series, brought to you by the Juice Network. I am Tariq the Way. We will be right back. Don't go nowhere, because we're coming right back. All right? Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. We are back. We are back. We are back. This is the More Than Entertainer series, brought to you by the Juice Network. I am your boy Tariq the Way. We are back. We are back. Hold on, hold on. Now listen, right quick, we want to shout out somebody. Right, we want to shout out CK Sounds. CK Sounds is an entertainment firm. It specializes in social and intimate events. We also offer rental services of professional audio, lighting, and DJ booth equipment that is available for your personal or corporate use. Our ideal customers are newlyweds and wedding planners looking for an entertainment firm, allowing them to fully customize their event. Sounds like what you need for your next event, like no further, CK Sounds is exactly what you need. For business inquiries, email us at djck@yahoo.com or call us at 252-594-1058. That was CK Sounds, and we about to go right back with Jay Dukes on the More Than Entertainment by the Juice Network. We about to get back. Yes, indeed, good people. We about to be back. We're about to be back. We're about to be rocking and rolling. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right, we back. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we back. We back. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here rocking out with Jay Dukes, the one and
Man,
only.
you gotta hold on. You gotta hold on. I'm loving this whole setup, brother. And you got sponsors. Man, you got
driving the clues bombs for us. Like I'm telling you, we doing it here.
You got
doing it. We doing it here.
That was my mama. Hope she probably gonna call me back. Like
it's all good. It's all good. Okay, we good. We good. All right. So, boom. We are having a good man. When I say we having a good conversation here, we are having a good conversation. So now, right?
Yep.
Let's talk about Ox Court Wars, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I remember Ox Court Wars came to NCCU. I remember I participated and I lost. I lost, but it's all good. Okay.
All good.
So boom. So talk to me, because that is Ox Court Wars is so. It's a really, really interesting concept. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just to really test out to see who knows music. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love the whole setup. So just walk me through that. Walk me through, like, how you got the idea, how you set it up, and then how did you get it to rock and roll and go to different universities and stuff like that. Just walk me through it.
Oh, for sure. So, because I work so closely with my DJ when we go to different shows and stuff, right? Let me back up. So the reason that we even started Ox Court Wars is because I'm definitely one that, you know, gets on Instagram and wants to do the engagement and the sketches and all of that. And, you know, it got to a point that Instagram started hating on like regular people, right?
Yeah.
And if you less than 20,000 followers, you're definitely a regular person, right? And so it was like Instagram wasn't showing all of your content, you know, if you were not using all of the functions, right? So that wasn't only posting videos, but also posting photos, also, you know, posting stories and going live. When I was going live, my engagement wasn't popping like that. So I might got 6, 7 people in my live. And I was like, this sucks. So I just tried to find out a cool way to go live to where I wouldn't have to look at the numbers and I could just go on and have fun, right? So one of my homies, I was like, yo, let's just go on live and just play music back and forth, bro. And so it wasn't a game, it wasn't a thing. I just said, if you're not doing nothing tonight, let's just go on live and play music back and forth. It wasn't no genres with it or nothing yet, right? And we went on and we did it. And I think the first time we had maybe 30 something people, and we were like, wait, this just feels a little different, right? So we did it again. And then we end up going long that time, and people in like Instagram shut us down. It was like, okay, cool. We about to run out of time. So y'all come right back. And the people came right back. So it was like, oh, like we might have something, right? We might have something. So we started talking about, you know, different, like a structure for it, like, you know, what would be the rules if it was a game show, or, you know, just kind of, you know, playing with different ideas, different concepts. And then I reached out to Rodney Perry. You got to Google him, Rodney Perry, you know what I'm saying? Super funny, OG, comedian, actor, one of my mentors, one of my uncles. And so I played him, right? And I was actually challenging him. I was like hitting him up on the story, like, yo, Rodney Perry, stop being scared. Come on to play Ox Court Wars, right? Okay. And then he ended up coming on the show. And then that next morning, he called me at 6 o'clock in the morning. I'll never forget it. And he said, yo, Jay Dukes, you got a TV show on your hands. Don't play with it. And when Rodney Perry told me that next week, I paid $900 to go ahead and get the copyright for Ox Court Wars, got the lawyers involved, make sure all the paperwork was right. Before y'all even saw anything, all of this was done before. Paperwork was done. Business was locked in before anybody knew what Ox Court Wars was, right? And so we had B. Simone come on early to play, like when we were still virtual. We had Spice Adams come on early to play when we were still virtual. And so we actually had conversations about it being a TV show early. early, right? But it
Right.
was like, okay, I still don't see it yet. So we shot, a pilot on our own, used our own bread to shoot a pilot with it. And like we had some, major producers, I won't say any names, but was like, yo, like we're connected, but they just didn't see it yet. And so I had T.I. in the back of my mind. And when T.I. got dropped from his label, he said, yo, maybe I don't know mainstream yet, but I definitely know the streets. So he went back to the streets and started, selling his discs and stuff out of his trunk, right? That's how T.I. got the buzz to get back to where he was at. Because, he had a label before.
Yes.
He got dropped from that label, came back, right? And so I had his vision in the back of my mind. I was like, you know what? I'm not in the streets like that, but the colleges are technically my streets, right? So if I can... so in order to get this, proof of concept, I can go to colleges and, and do this event, and they'll open their doors for me. I might not get no bread from it, or I might get a small bag from it, but I know they'll open their doors for at least us to have the footage to show people we have something.
Yes.
And then once we did that, we took the concept to NASAP in 2000 and what was it, 18?
Yes.
2018.
I was there.
And it did. It did well at NASAP. It was like, okay, cool. So then our first show, other than NASAP, was Norfolk State, and then it did well there. And I just started, using the relationships that we had, because you got to think about it. I've been hosting colleges and doing step shows and talent shows and homecoming since 2010. So we got hella relationships, and they already trust me because they know what I do. So that it was just picking up the phone saying, yo, I have something else that I know will work on your campus. I know your students. I know your culture. And let's try Ops Court Wars. And they was like, all right, cool. You know what I'm saying? And then when we went and it banged, they was like, oh, man, this is insane.
Right.
Yeah.
That is dope. Let's get a hand clap in for Ops Court Wars, man. If you can't remember, right, what school was like the best one that you did?
Don't do me like that.
Okay. Let me break it down like this. Give me the top 5 schools that had the best Ops Court Wars.
Don't do me like that, brother. Don't do it like that.
Somebody got to know, because the way I links on social media, it's like, okay, one school had to just tear the house down, where it was like, listen, we coming right back here, but we got to just do a different twist on it.
But because, like, here's the thing. I don't want to mess up our bag because we have strong relationships with all of these schools, right? So I don't want nobody to feel no type of way. But I will say the only school that this happened at, I can shout them out. At Tennessee State University, they were so lit that the lights were shaking, right? They brought in a whole sound company. Of course, they had, they brought...
I rock with that. The lights is shaking.
So they brought in the sound company. Of course, they had all of the lights up and everything. But, dog, we had to stop the show because we thought it was because they didn't order any barricades. We thought people were leaning against the lights, and we was like, yo, because you about to have Tasha Andrews on here tomorrow, I think.
Yes, indeed. Right? Yes, so, that's OG.
Yeah. So Ms. Andrews, like, she made me stop the show and was like, Dukes, they got to back up because the lights are shaking. I was like, okay, my bad. So I had to, like, stop the show. Hey, y'all, can y'all back up from the lights? Come to find out, they were not even leaning on the lights. It was just that lit of the floor bouncing up and down to where the lights were shaking.
Drop a bomb for that too, God.
So that's the only show that happened at. That's the reason I'm shouting them out. Every single time we went out for Ops Court Wars, it was always insane.
All right.
Yeah, bro.
Now.
Yeah, bro. And if you don't believe me, go to our page. Look up, scroll through the videos. You'll see Tennessee State, and there's a lady that's recording it from her phone in the audience, and she looked up, and the lights are literally bouncing like a foot, like
Got
that.
You. Free Block, what up, my boy? What's good with you, bro? All right, now, I gotta. Man, I gotta ask you this question. I gotta ask you a tough question. All right, if there was one school that that you would say was probably one of the best experiences you had as far as hosting, what school would that be?
Wow. Oh yeah, easy, right? So and it's more than just the experience, it's what happened to me at Claflin. All right.
Okay.
So we had a host rocking Claflin for a long time. Like when I was still in undergrad, he had a really strong relationship with Claflin to where even after I graduated, he was still hosting the show, right? So maybe 3 years after I graduated, I wanted to do the show because I was on the road doing my thing. So I'm like, bro, like I went to Claflin, so I really want to do this show, right? So we technically had like a Twitter war going back and forth saying, this host for homecoming, and then people were hashtagging Jay Dukes for homecoming, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, but it was enough for him to see it and for other people to see it and be like, yo, Jay Dukes going really, really hard. He coming, right? So I didn't get the show that year. That I still went to the show. He hosted it. I went to the show support, dapped him up, whatever, just kind of like checked out the vibe or whatnot. And after the show, it was either after the show or the next day, I tweeted, "Great job at the show last night. I got next," is all I said, right?
Shout out to my SAB president, Alexis. She's up in here. SAB president for North Carolina Central this year. Shout out to her right quick. But
Alexis was popping. Yeah. So I tweeted him and I was like, yo, great job at the show last night. I got next, right? This man got my phone number. He could have called me. He could have sent me a DM. He said, "You'll host Claflin Step Show when I die."
Woo!
Oh.
Drop a bomb right quick.
Right. Like, no BS. On Twitter, he responded, "You'll host Claflin Step Show when I die." Right? And so that next year, I didn't care if I had to host Claflin Step Show for free. I didn't care if I had to pay them to host it, right? I ended up getting the contract for next year. They gave me a shot, and it was a great show. So a lot of times, man, we get so bogged down with the negative that we forget that, yo, like I was the first, I think first and only alumnus invited back to host the Greek Step Show, right? Ever.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So that was real, and we're cool, now. But like that was a real moment that I will never forget because I was like, dang, bro, like that's how you feel, and it was, and I think what hurt the most was he knew I was coming because. Right. Like when you doing your thing that you going so hard, like the approach that I take is let me pull this dude close because what's the point of me hating on him, right? When I see you doing your thing, I was like, yo, hit my line whenever, bro. I'm gonna pull you close so that I can help. So at least it feels like even if you do knock me off of my quote unquote pedestal or whatever, I would feel good knowing that I had a part in helping you be great.
Yes.
Right? So I'm gonna pull you close because there's no way that I can stop you. Look at what you're doing right now. Look at your whole setup. Look at you on the road doing these shows. You know what I'm saying? It's no way you're gonna stop, Tariq Wavy right now from doing this thing. Right? So I want to be the one that's like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to be the one to put out that good energy so that when people ask about Jay Dukes, you like, yo, like he always been, 100 with me, help me out, right? But what tends to happen and what happens way too often, people get so scared of this dude is going to knock me off of my pedestal. So I'm going to hate on him and hold him down so that I still have a spot. And that's so whack to me, bro. I'll tell you. For real, bro. And I'll tell you
that's
one
real
thing.
Shit. That's real shit. That's so real.
I'll tell you one thing that my OG, from the radio station told me. He said, and this is what I take to heart. He said, "I'll never be scared to give you the formula because even with the formula, you have to outwork me. And if you outwork me, you deserve it." And I was like, "Oh, right."
Oh man.
So people out here being scared of losing their spot and not even realizing that you got outworked. Or you slowed down. So it ain't their fault. It's your fault.
Can I get a hand clap? I mean, good. I mean, Jim is coming over here. It's like I can say this, right? Like, and shout out to my boy CDK. We had him on the show a couple weeks ago, right? He won the title for top HBCU host of the year, right? This year,
Oh,
right?
salute, major salute.
Yeah, major salute to him. And the thing was, it was like,
what school he at?
He's at North Carolina A&T.
Okay, cool.
So definitely check him out. He's at North Carolina A&T, right? And one thing about him, I always say, because one thing I do is anybody that I respect or I'm cool with, I always like to give them their roses now before later. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
'Cause, like, one thing about him when he won that competition, I think like the most beautiful thing about the whole hosting competition was like, even though he got the #1 spot, right? It's like we all still came together and we connected. Almost every day we talk to each other in our group chat. We like send flyers of like, yo, this is my podcast. We're gonna be doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Hey man, if anybody want to be a guest on this show, let me know. Hey man, I got an amazing network of opportunities just like that. And it's crazy that you said that because it's like we live in a world now, especially like in this business, especially like the entertainment business, where it's like it's so much hate to be #1, where it's like we're not saying that you can't get your bag and you can't get to the top, but it's like sometimes you need that help because there might be a door that you can't open that somebody else can open for you. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
I definitely respect what you said on that one. I definitely respect that. Let me ask you this: with of course, with the whole thing with Corona going on, like it's stopped a lot of things, but it's also helped a lot of people with a lot of things, right? For you, what's the ultimate goal for Jay Dukes?
Definitely want to get into directing, producing my own television projects and film projects, right? Acting as well. One thing that I really take pride in, man, is helping people. You feel me? So to be honest, I definitely want to be on the level of Kevin Hart, but the only reason I want to get there is so that I can have, like the relationships where I can bring other people up and make other people rich. Right? That's really what I want to do. And I'll tell anybody, one of my hood goals is, not to go to the club and get a VIP table with 10 chairs. I want to go to the club and get 10 VIP tables, right? And all my people paying for their own table, right? And I want to have a part in that and just making more Black millionaires, bro. I really feel strongly about that. So if you just like really look into what I do and what I've done, I've always I've always been able to help people for for real. And it could be a little bit of a hindrance because I don't know if my relationships are as genuine as they need to be because how rough we grew up. This might sound weird, for lack of better words, my love language is how do you help me pay my bills, right? How do you help me eat? And so everybody that, I've impacted or worked with, I've always been able to get them some kind of check or been able to make sure that they're capitalizing on what they got going on, right? Whether that's advice or whether that's me bringing them along and literally putting a check in their hand. But I've always been like, okay, anybody can give you, advice and sit you down and do meetings all the time, but I want to help people really get to this bag.
Yeah.
And that's what I take pride in.
Wow, that's so much respect to you on that one. So now that you said that, right, what is like the beauty in doing what you do? Because like, being an entrepreneur, right, being a host or a DJ or whatever, some people, they don't really understand like the struggles that we have to go through. They don't understand the preparation, the crowd involvement, us just being a people person, not really trying to be an introvert so much. Like, like what is like what would you say is like the beauty of doing what you do?
Are you saying from a skill level or just what am I most proud of?
Like, well, really like both. Really like both.
Okay. So from a skill level, I've done enough shows to where I can improv and just stay in the moment. Right? And so that's something that I really take pride in because everybody has things that they do, right? Like they go and say, I want to do this, this, and this at this show. But then it might not fall like that, right? You might automatically have in your head that the noops gonna, make all the ladies be like, ooh, right? But if they noops whack and you had something that you wanted to do for the ladies after the noops and they not even feeling them, then you gotta, throw that script away and do something else. You know what I'm saying? And so I take pride in just staying in the moment and making sure that, making sure the audience is having fun. That's our job, right? Our job is not just to announce who's coming next. Our job is to make sure the audience is having fun. And sometimes that's stepping outside of yourself and taking yourself off of that pedestal, because what I never want to happen is, and I've heard this before, I've heard people go, the show was whack, but I stayed because of you. You was doing your thing. That's not a compliment to me, though. You know what I'm saying? That's not a compliment, because at the end of the day, I want people to go, that was the best show I've ever been to, or that was the best show that this school had in a long time. And as the host, you play a part in that, right? You're not only the host, you're also the producer. You know what I'm saying? Because when somebody's on stage, you need to run around behind stage, making sure the next act is ready to go. If they not ready to go, how many minutes do y'all need? Give me about 3 minutes. Give them 3 minutes. Maybe give them 4, but you shouldn't have to give them 5. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And so now in those 3-4 minutes, you're doing something to where the audience don't even know you're killing time.
Yeah.
You feel me? So you're not just on stage reading a script. You're actually the producer of the show. And that's something that kept me working, because that takes the pressure off of, the administration and the SGA as well. Right. Yeah. If we bring in Jay Dukes, he going to do everything. Great. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Respect it. Yes. Yeah.
But you got to know that from a timing standpoint. You got to be comfortable in saying that, is that, yo, if you book me to host your show, I'm not only the host, I'm also making sure that your show, the flow of your show goes smoothly. Right.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And you asked a 2-part question. That was one. Yeah. I'm sorry. What was the second part?
It's also with the skill and just throughout your life, how has it helped you?
You saying how has hosting helped me?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, improv for sure, because you're always, able to pivot, and if you have something in your mind, you're always able to say, okay, let me adjust this, because that's not exactly how I saw it going. Just in life, period. Yeah. Right. And so even with COVID, this ain't how we saw life going. Yeah.
Not at all.
So we definitely took a huge L, and we getting a real bag for Oxford Wars right now. We got 7 contracts pulled in one day. You know what I'm saying? And so we went to virtual. We start and look at that shit hurt so bad. Nigga, I'm rubbing my head. I didn't even realize it. I'm
I understand.
Yo, we got 7 contracts pulled in a day. So we went virtual with it. We had a couple of tournaments, but just understanding that winners win, right? Yeah. And no matter what comes up, if you're a winner, you're gonna figure out how to win. And I think that's what's important with what we do. As a host, as an entertainer, as an entrepreneur, at the end of the day, our goal is just to win. However, that no matter how ugly that looks, no matter how dirty you get in the trenches, you got to win. And that's something that, we're good at, figuring out how to win at all costs.
Let me get a hand clap for that right there, because that was good right there.
Hey, man, that computer hand hurt, man.
Yeah. So who would you say has been some influential people on your journey, and how they played a part, not just maybe in your career, but also in your life?
Give me an example.
So what's your career, right? With you being a host, you doing all these amazing shows, you going to different schools and rocking the crowd out. Who's had an impact on that? Whether it was constructive criticism, always posting something that you was a part of, always giving you a ride somewhere that you needed to, or just always being at every show. Who is some that?
Yo, comedian Skeet Carter just joined in, man. What up, Skeet?
You
got to look up Skeet Carter though. He out there doing his thing for real.
Gotcha.
So salute to you, brother. But go ahead, man.
Yeah, but so who are some people that have helped you on your journey when you were beginning your hosting career, then you getting the Oscar Awards and stuff like that? Who are some influential people?
How much time you got?
We got enough time.
So early on, my theater professor was my first manager. So shout out to Miss Grievous. My cousin early on was my road manager. He didn't know what he was doing, but he was my cousin. And so he so he definitely just listened, and we tried to figure it out together, but the money wasn't coming in like that. So he had, another situation come up. As far as like influences, man, like my mom holds me down so much. And I think it backfired because I believe she held me down too long and didn't push me out there and tell me to figure it out. Right. And so if I needed to run back and be like, Mom, it's not going well or whatever, she would help me out till I got back on my feet. And I'm like, I did that too long, and I think it watered down my hustle in some areas, because I'm like, let me just get through this rough patch and then it'll be okay. Like, my mom's gonna help me out. And so I'm way too old to have that mentality and not have figured it out, years ago. Right. And so yeah, my mom definitely held me down. My fam, like my whole, family for Ox Court Wars. We don't even say team. We got a whole family. Like they really, hold me down as far as like just having a vision and executing that vision. Is no way that I could do Ox Court Wars on my own. So like that's, super important, super close to my heart. And then I think I've been motivated by everybody that has told me no. Yeah, definitely, man, because it's just like you want to, like it feels silly explaining yourself or pitching yourself and selling yourself to people. And at this point, because you like, man, they should get it. They should look me up. They should know Jay Dukes or whatever. But like we in a career that so many people are coming up. We in an oversaturated market, right? So you got to be something special to stand out. And so I think I've been motivated and been relentless at like getting on to those different shows and doing, those different events to where people told me no the first time, right? Like I'll give you an example, bro. Alabama A&M, they're the advisor that I talked to first, and I love her to this day with all of my heart. I consider her one of my best friends. I called them. I met, like, when I first started hosting, and everybody can't afford to do this, and I couldn't either. But when I first started hosting, I put it in my budget. I created a talent show to where the winner of the talent show would get $1,000 scholarship, right?
Wow.
And then that's what I put in the budget. So I wasn't making no real bread from it. I ain't want nothing. I just wanted to get out there because I knew that I was going to, I was going to rock and it was going to bring me back. Right. So I called her. I said, yo, we got $1,000 scholarship that we giving back to your school. I'm not taking no bread from it or whatever. We just want to host your talent show that y'all have every year. She said, excuse me, who's this? I was like, my name's Jay Dukes. She said, we're not interested. And she hung up. Right?
Wow.
I called back. I said, hey, I don't think you heard me. But we're giving $1,000 scholarship to the winner of this talent show for your school. And I know the students would love it. She said, is this Jay Dukes? Like, yes, ma'am. Again, we're not interested. Thank you for your time. And she hung up, right? I had to go through the SGA president in order for him to present it to her. And she was pissed because she already told me we're not interested. And he ended up, talking to her or whatever. I got in through the SGA president, and that's the school that I broke the record at by hosting that.
Wow. Hand clap for that right quick.
Back-to-back semesters for 6 semesters in a row.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Man.
So just being relentless, man, believing in yourself, believing in your brand, and just going and getting it, bro. Like, cause that, like, again, like if you're relentless, they will give you a shot. But when you get your shot, you cannot miss. That's
okay. Now, last question I want to ask you. For anybody that's probably, I know people probably hit you up all the time, like, hey, I really want to be a host, man. I seen stuff that you did. You came to my school, man. You killed it, blase, right? If you can pick how many numbers, if you had 5 things or 6 things or one thing that you would tell somebody starting off as a host or anybody that's a host right now, what are the 5 key things that somebody needs to be a host?
Wow. 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 Okay. What have I told you?
One thing you've told me to, let me see, I'm trying to go back. One thing that
You don't remember? It was whack.
No, it wasn't whack. No, it was whack because we had a lot of conversation about it. One thing you told me is whatever school you at, make them believe in your brand. It's one thing that you told me. You told me to make them believe in your brand.
Yeah.
The second thing you've told me is to always work on your craft. Your craft never sleeps.
Yep. All right, so I'll give you a couple real quick, right?
Okay.
I would, especially starting out, right? Let's just say if you're hosting a step show, I would do my best to try to make it to that school before the step show, right? So if the step show's on Friday, I would try to go to their event on Thursday and check out the vibe, right? That's number one, check out the vibe. And so that way you can know what you can do differently when it's time for your show, right? Number two, I would say prepare, right? I even to this day, I still write down the different sets and stuff that I want to do, right? And then as I do them, I'll check them off. I write them down with the a pencil and a pen, or if I got them on my phone and I text them to the DJ or whatever, right? So make sure that you're prepared. As far as hosting, step shows and talent shows, work with the DJ. And then, again, like you said, DP told you, find your niche and work out. I think working out is huge because you need to have your endurance up if you're going to be, the life of the party or the event. And it's been shows, man, that I would run around the gym, run around the arena, whatever. And then after, I introduce the next act, I'm behind stage, like, right. But when I'm out there, they don't know it. You feel me? So you definitely want to be able to give that energy because the audience is going to reciprocate the energy that you give. So you don't want to be out of shape as a host. So a couple things.
Okay, got you, man. So listen, I'm gonna say this one thing, and I'm gonna go. So one thing, I'm gonna tell you how you really helped me be, how you have been an inspiration to me, like when it comes to hosting, right? 2017, you hosted NCCU Step Show. You hosted Central Step Show, right?
Yeah.
And like you said, one thing you did was you wanted to find out who the oldest Greek was in the building. I remember you ran around, and then you got to the top row, right?
Yeah.
And you picked this old lady out, and she was a graduate from St. Aug. She played Sima Gamero, and it was 1966. That was my grandmother.
Wow. That was your grandmother?
That was my grandmother. I was right behind you. Like, I was running behind y'all because I know my grandmother was not going to know what to do when she get down there. So that's just like the example of how you've been a very, very big impact on my hosting career. Like, I always tell people, when it comes to my top host anywhere, is Terrence J, J Dukes, and DPDMC. I tell people that all the time. Those are the top 3 for me.
Oh,
if they not in that conversation, we really can't have a conversation about who the GOATs are hosting. So you are definitely on my Mount Rushmore of hosting. That was one of the main reasons why I hit you up, just to get some insight. So, my man, thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you to everybody that's tuned in on this live. We really, really do appreciate you. J Deuce, my brother, appreciate you so much for being up here, man. Like, this has been...
Yo, stop the music real quick.
Hold it.
And make sure I'm saying your name right. Tariq
the Way, that's me.
Tariq, for sure. I want to say, like, you're doing great, bro. And, like, continue to be great and continue to be relentless. And so, even when you invited me on the show before, I had some things going on. And I wanted to make sure I got that with you, right? And I just wanted to keep my word that I was going to come on the show. But to see your brand and to see, the effort and the preparation you put into this, I wholeheartedly support you, bro, 100%. And of course, you got my number. I always tell you, yo, hit me whenever. If you can't get me on the phone, text me. I'm gonna hit you right back because I believe in you. I believe in your brand. I believe in your whole team. So proud of you, bro. Keep pushing. One thing that my brother told me, he said, people will tell you you young, you got time. He said, you don't have time. Move like you don't have time. Because if you grinding right now, in 10 years, you're going to be way bigger than, you know, the DPs, the J Dukes, and the Terrence Jays. So you don't have time. Keep mashing right now. Put the pedal to the metal, and you're going to be great, bro. You're already great.
Appreciate you, man.
All right, you can start the music back.
Hey, I appreciate it, bro. Thank you. I appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the More Than an Entertainer series. Tomorrow, please tune in tomorrow. We got Show Out with the Wave on the Juice Network. We are talking HBCUs, and we got some special guests in the building. We got Devontae Parker, DP the MC, Tasha Andrews, and Elliot Jackson. So I need you here. We are having a conversation on HBCUs. If you are a student at an HBCU, or if you are a graduate or alumni of an HBCU, we need you in this conversation because HBCUs are on the rise right now. So we need you in this conversation. So tomorrow is Shaw with the Wave. We're talking HBCUs. This is the More Than an Entertainer series. Jay Deuce, we appreciate you coming up here, brother. Until next time, we out.